Come and learn how to paint this beautiful landscape with me from beginning to end. Also keeping in mind that watercolor dries variation, and watercolor is really important. I want to make like a line of trees. Hi friends, today we are gonna be making a landscape. I've been trying to do one of these for a while, and I have a quarter sheet of paper that I just taped into my board. A quarter sheet, it means watercolor paper comes in sheets. It also comes in blocks. But the sheets, you cut them into half, or you can cut it into 4 places, which is what I did here. I have a 9 by 11, that's the size. And now I don't need a whole lot of drawing for this painting. I just basically gonna make a line here for kind of like with the metal, so it's gonna come and let it go down so that it guides our eyes from one hand to the other. It will go down here, and maybe here we can have a line of trees. So we want to have a big sky. So I got a big container with clean water, the paper, and a spray bottle. Now I have my palette. I'm going to use the palette where I have all my colors. And I like to keep pretty much my grays here because there is nothing better than gray from the palette. But I'm cleaning this area so that I can get fresh blues. Just wet a little bit of the paper, and now with dry paper I just collect so that I don't have no surprise with any of this paint that is hiding here in the corners. It's a little bit of greens, and I want to make a blue sky. I don't want to make a green sky, so I'm making sure that I'm getting it all good clean. All right, and now we're gonna need, I like to spray my colors with water because they're easy to get. Watercolor dries, but if I just put a little bit of water on it, then I get them back to life, and they are easy to get out. What kind of brush should we use? We have a quarter sheet, so let's just get a little bit of a bigger brush. We're gonna get our number 12. Can you see it? Yeah, number 12. And now we're gonna use, I think we're gonna use the, let's get with the cobalt blue. It's such a beautiful neutral color. And because we're gonna be doing wet on wet, meaning wet paper, and then we're gonna apply the wet paint to it, I wanna have it fairly strong because the water of the paper will dilute this paint that we're gonna put on it. So I think this will be a good size, and if not, I can, enough to get me started. And now let's get another brush, and for the bottom of our painting, we will want it to get a little bit warmer, so let's just get a little bit of brown. Maybe put it over here. That's too dark of a brown. I want a brown that it has a little hint of yellow, of orange. Now, I don't have the one that I'm looking at my palette, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this brown and I'm gonna put it onto my yellow to warm it up a little bit. Okay, and here we have it. All right, we don't need a whole lot of this. Now, you have seen my colors. It's gonna be the brown with a little bit of yellow, the warm brown, and the cobalt blue. Now we're gonna bring our paper. And what we're gonna be doing, first things first, is wet our sky. I'm gonna get a big brush. This is it's a 2-inch, and just with clean water, I'm gonna cover the surface of the sky. Important thing, first you bring the water and then you look to make sure that you did not left any dry spots. How do you know that you left dry spots? Let me bring it closer and let me show you, because I have a couple. Let's see if it shows. Every part, all the parts, they are shiny, means they have water. I have a part here that is completely no shine at all, that means that's dry. So that's how you know. Shiny means wet, of course, and if it doesn't have any shine, it means that you didn't wet with water. I'm going twice. I like to go at least twice, and because we're gonna have some trees over here, I'm gonna get a tiny little bit inside of that too, because trees are not solid and the sky will have to show through it. And then I'm gonna bring it here. I like to go a couple times, like I was saying, to make sure that my paper is well and saturated. So we go in this direction, and we go into this other direction too. And now a very important part, that's it for the wetness, but a very important part is get a little bit of your paper and collect the water that it got into the masking tape. See? Yep, I got it all. So let's start bringing our blue. Let's see if you can show it. So I got the blue, the cobalt blue, and now we're gonna bring some of it into the corner, and because it's wet, we're getting all those big soft edges, more like clouds, soft. That's exactly what we're looking for. I like to have a little bit of the white showing. We're gonna drop a little, maybe here, and then I'm gonna dip my brush into more water so that these ones over here will become a little bit lighter. Now, let's just drop a couple here. This part of the sky, I want this part to be blue and this one to be more lighter. And again, I'm gonna go with more water and making maybe little shapes like, I don't know, maybe they're clouds. And we wanna connect this part with this part, so I'm bringing some of it from less to more. I'm using my brush and a circular motion, kind of like if they are clouds. And I'm also keeping in mind that watercolor dries lighter. So this is stronger here, but it will dry lighter. I don't have a whole lot of movement because I don't have a lot of water, but if I tilt it a little bit, I can see a little bit of that movement. Let me see if I can show you. A little bit of that movement. That's nice and soft. And now, while this is wet, we're gonna go, remember that little brown? We're gonna put a little bit of it here. Oh, it's a little too strong. Let's dilute it with more water. And we're gonna, because we just want a hint. Again, we will have some trees, but the sky will show through the trees. And I feel like we need a little something here. So let's just pick up a little bit of this permanent rose, lightly. And add a little bit, make sure it's not too strong. Just a little touches here. I just dropping my brush lightly onto the sky. I would like to have a mix of this a little bit with the blue. You see how it's giving me this kind of purple? so that we are connecting this, connecting it to that, and then this connects to this other end, and so on, so our eyes can move. Okay, now only with water basically. These are too even, so I'm just gonna soften, but I don't want to lose all my whites, so very gently, like in a motion, like down and up, down and up, down and up. And let's just bring, because this and this need to be connected too, so let's just bring a little bit of the light pink here. All right. Let's go with a little bit of water only in my brush and soften some of these edges. Again, circular motion, light circular motion. Here on a painting, I'm just moving the paint, helping the paint to soften the edges. Because for the most part, the sky will not have too many hard edges. Okay, and now, important part, very important part, I can do this because I still have a lot of shine. If I was losing my shine, then don't go with your brush. Then you let it dry, and after it has dried, then you can re-wet and then do again what you need to do. But I have shine, so always constantly be checking for it. So since I've got it, I can do some of these. But I think that I like it, and then I'm gonna leave my paint do what it needs to do as it dries. Meaning, as it dries, the paint will continue to spread a little bit more. So I'm gonna let the paint do that, lose the shine, and then go with my hair dryer and finish it up just to speed up the process. As this paint sky is drying, we're gonna start making some of the greens. They are gonna go onto the foreground. I'm gonna be using the ones that I did in my last video. A green that leans more onto the yellow, meaning more queen gold, and then less cerulean blue. That's the blue that we have over there. Now, I need to have enough because I need to cover all this area. And when you're mixing your own greens, it's nothing worse than starting painting and run out of color. So more water, paint, and instead of using the cerulean blue, I think that because I've been having cobalt blue on the sky, and to make everything more cohesive, I'm gonna go ahead and bring some of my cobalt onto the mix and make my green that way. It's good to have a little bit of testing paper just to see how it is. And we can, if we like it like this, or we can add more queen gold to the mix. If we want to change it more onto the yellow. See the difference? One is more green. Well, it has a lot of shine, but yeah, let's just get a little more of the onto the yellow part, because this is gonna be our first color, meaning our underpainting for here. Then we will add other greens. I'm using 300-pound paper, so it takes a long time to dry. And because while it dries, blending still is happening, and our sky is gonna be a good protagonist in this painting. All I did was dry this area where we're gonna have the other colors, and the other one I still have it very damp. So it has lost the shine, but it still is wet, so the blending can still happen. let's start with this. We're gonna start bringing this, for this part, we're gonna be working, we can work either in wet on wet or wet on dry. So let me show you both ways. Let's get a flat brush. And using, this is 1 inch, and I can wet and apply my colors. See? Or I can just bring the colors into the dry paper and still it's the same. Really, for this particular painting, there'll be other paintings where you don't want hard edges, but in this particular painting, it doesn't matter. So having a wet sometimes speed ups, makes the paint blend better. So it's up to you if you want to wet it or not. Now, one thing that we're gonna do though is I'm gonna put a little bit of warm. This is my burnt sienna, which is kind of like an orangey brown, and we're gonna put it here. Maybe a little more water, and this is the one that we're gonna bring on the edge. I apply this color, this is wet, so we have those pretty blendings, meaning two colors are blending on the paper instead of on the palette. I'm just gonna put like an edge with the color slightly less diluted, just to make kind of like a horizon line kind of thing. And now, because this is still wet, I just blend in those to soften the edge. Okay, and I'm not gonna have any yellow, green yellow metal here, so I'm just gonna ease it up a little bit here and leave this part without it. Again, now since I want this color to show through, I need to dry it. So I'm gonna get my hair dryer. It's dry, it feels nice and warm. And now, while the paper cools down a little bit, we're gonna go ahead and make another mix of greens. This time, I'm gonna get it more green and less on the yellow side. So probably gonna get about the same amount of yellow as it is of blue. And since we already got a little bit of the cobalt, we're gonna go ahead and get some of the cerulean. Bring it back here, more cerulean. Let's get our tasting paper one more time. Mixing, in this case, I do want to mix my colors and the palette because I want it to be green. It's still very, very yellow. What I'm aiming for is, I had a light, I'm gonna make now a medium, and then I would like to have a dark. So I think I still want it slightly, you see. Let's get it a slightly more onto the green, so more blue. See? And let's try. Yeah, this is better. Can you see? Yeah. Okay. So now, just maybe a tad more. We are gonna use the two brush technique, which I will show you more in depth in a different video. I'm raising my big brush, the one that I was having blue on it. Make sure that I have it all clean. And this one, I'm gonna have it only with water, but dumb, because I'm taking most of it out. And then this one, I have my color with it. I'm gonna be mindful of following a direction. I wanted to make look like it is from high to less than flat. So I'm gonna put some of my green on, I'm doing this on dry paper. And then I go with my wet brush and I soften the edge. I want the yellow to show. And if I don't go with water, I will have maybe too many hard edges. So I want some of those and some they are not. I can also come and add some of these greens. Let me get it closer so you can see better. I'm applying the paint on dry, wet my brush, take a little bit of the excess water, and then soften the edge. Bring more. I don't mind, I'm trying to make some texture too, so I don't mind if some of that texture is there. I'm going from high to flat. And I'm just gonna be quiet for a minute while I keep painting, filling it all up with green. So I'm gonna use Undersea green, which is a beautiful green. Let me show you on the test paper. It's a dark green. If I go with water, kind of like olive dark. So I want that, but I also wanted to have a little bit of the blues. So I'm just gonna bring this color, bring them into my blue. It's gonna make it darker and also having a little bit of the colors that they were there in the sky. I want variation. Variation and watercolor is really important. So we're gonna have this mix, and to this mix I'm also going to bring a little bit to this other palette and bring a little bit of the yellow, so that I have two darks. One is slightly different than the other. Not by much, just slightly. Okay, so that's one. And this is our second one. Let's make sure we got enough. It's nothing worse than running out of paint, of mixed paint, when you are in the middle of painting. Okay, that should do it. And by doing this technique, using the dry paper, then when I add the water, I can allow for all these beautiful textures to come. If my paper was all wet, it will dry. It will spread with sharp edges, and I won't be able to get that texture. Gonna drop a tiny little bit. Darker color. Water. Okay, I'm gonna bring the metal texture like this. I'm gonna be quiet. Make like a line of trees, so some of the trees are going to be farther away in order to be more realistic, and some other ones are going to be closer. So how we're going to do that? By getting the farther away with this light color, and we will get a darker mix for the other ones. Same underneath undersea green with the cobalt blue, and now I'm bringing some bronze sienna. Let's start doing this. Same color, but with a lot less water, more concentration of pigment and less water. If you want darker, which I want a green, the best way to do that is to add a little bit of a blue. So you see the tasting paper. Let's see. I want it darker. Remember, watercolor dries light, so lighter than when it looks. So you need to get enough paint and darker paint. So getting all this paint out of here, and now I'm gonna get a little bit of a blue, get the French Ultra. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a better green. Okay. And now we have that, and then let's finish this painting. We are gonna bring trees. They are gonna make them closer. So I'm gonna go with my brush with water, and I'm gonna spray a little bit so it gives me some variation. Okay, to get some of those colors into the metal, so let's just get a little bit here. trees over here. So we have one corner, now we have to even it up with the other corner. Lovely landscape from beginning to end, very fast. Yeah, let's clean this up. Actually, instead of cleaning it up, let's remove the tape so we got the clean edges. Beautiful landscape with basically no drawing. I hope you enjoy it, and let me know if you like to see more like this from beginning to end, or if you like for me to concentrate more on specific techniques, or if you want to see a mix of both.